आज हम पढ़ने वाले हैं कंपनी एक्ट के कुछ मेन टॉपिक्स जो हमारे डील करेंगे कंपनी एक्ट से। हमारा फर्स्ट टॉपिक है क्रॉस बॉर्डर मर्जर। इन केस ऑफ क्रॉस बॉर्डर मर्जर, two firms belongs to the two different countries. It means that two firms will belongs to the two different countries, that the two firms will not belong to the one country. That the main component of the cross border merger is that both the firms should be from different countries. Merger is a special type of acquisition in which two firms join to form a new large firm. That the main objective of the firms is to combine or join together as to form a new firm. Cross-border merger deal between foreign company and domestic firm. The trend of increasing cross-border merger has accelerated with globalization of the world economy. Indeed, in the year 1990s were a golden decade for the cross-border merger. As the example of the cross-border merger are the Tata Steel Company, which acquired the UK-based company for the amount of rupees 8 billion. As the advantages of the cross-border merger, as the first one is foster entry growth. India is entering US as India is inquiring in US business. Second one is quick increase in market share. If you acquire the other foreign company, then your share will increase. The third one is smooth entry into another markets, as you can also become the part of another country market. The fourth one is resource sharing. If you merge, then you can share the resources of the other country like human resource, material and more. As if you become the part of the another country, so you can use the resources of the another country as well, as each and every country has its own resources, so you can become the part of their resources and utilize them. The fifth one is increased economics of sale, that the production will increase. Sixth one is broader range of products, services for sale, as you can produce more products and avail services, as all lead to increase in their business, as it helps to increase the growth and expansion of the business. As the seventh one deals with the inter-partner learning, as if one partner of the business is good in one thing and another one is good in another one, so both will combine together, so it will help in the growing and expansion of the business. As you can learn from another person, as you can learn from the other person and try to combine the things and gain more and more profits. As the disadvantages of the cross-border merger, the first one is cultural differences, as both the countries have their own culture, so it's difficult for both the countries to adjust in their culture. The second one is complexity due to investment of bankers, lawyers, regulation, etc. As different countries has their own regulations, laws, so it's difficult for the company to adjust in them. The third one is possibility of goal conflict, as there is conflict between the goals, as if two companies combine together, if the first company has different goals to achieve and the second company has different goals to achieve, so it's become a matter of conflict between both the countries to achieve them. The fourth one is restrictions by host country on acquisition of local firms by foreigners. Fifth one is different competition policy. Sixth one is different corporate value. The seventh one is different operating methods. Now, if we conclude the cross-border merger, then we come to know that it merges two organizations into one. In case of cross-border merger, two organizations belongs to two different countries, that they should not belong to the one country. It is a mutual decision between the two countries, that the decision of to combine together, it is a mutual decision of both the countries, that it is not an compulsion of the country, but it is a mutual decision of both the countries. Merger is expensive. It is time consuming and company has to explain so much on legal issues. Delusion of ownership occurs. Now we are going to deal with the merger and acquisition of company. So first we will going to understand what do we mean by the term merger. Merger basically means marriage in corporate heaven. When two companies combine together, as we already discussed the main component of the merger, that the two companies will combine together. It means when two entities come together and form a new entity, as they combine together and it's form a new and completely new entity. As there are types of merger, the first one is horizontal merger. What do you mean by the horizontal merger? When the two industries are at same industry and at same stage. As the perfect example to understand the horizontal merger is Flipkart and Myntra, as both these companies online shopping apps are both online shopping apps, and they are both at same industry at the shopping online and the same stage. As these both are the perfect example of the horizontal merger. Second one is vertical merger, when same industry and different stages. As the vertical merger is further divided into two parts, that is forward integration and backward integration. What is forward integration? When above in the value change, and the backward integration means more depletion in the value change. Now we will come on the third type of merger, which is conglomerate merger, which means when two firms come together but they are unrelated in the business. The motto is diversification, as both the companies are totally different from each other, as they are totally belong from the different diversification, that they are not related to each other at all. And the fourth one is congenitic merger, which means Dell acquired EMC. It is similar to vertical or horizontal merger, extension of an activity in the same industry to extend their business. As the main motto of the congenitic merger was to expansion of the business, so when they combine together and extend the boundaries of the business. Fifth one is reverse merger, in which a large pet entity acquire the public entity. When a private entity acquire a public entity, private entity which is run by the public, and the public entity which is run by the government for the beneficial of the public. And the example is ICICI Bank acquire ICICI. Small company acquires a large company. As private companies are always a small company, and the public company is always a part of the large company, as BACS is a large company. Like Facebook acquire WhatsApp, as we also know that Facebook has also acquired the Instagram. So it become a big. Now we will take over strategies of merger. And the first one is friendly or negotiated. Two firms come together purposely that they want to go ahead, see their activity, come to decision that they want to merge or not. That the merger is a mutual decision of both the companies that they want to merge or not. And the second one is hostile merger, is like compulsion merger, not by choice but by compulsion. That is not a mutual decision by the company, but the decision is under the compulsion, that one company has the authority and deprive the another country to join the one country and make a big firm. When one country acquire another country purposely and without his consent, at the consent, as the second country do not have his consent, but by compulsion he has to give their consent to the another country. The third one is reverse bid. Instead of that company offering you, you directly offer to the company. And it is pretty simple to understand what is reverse bid. The fourth one is poison pill. It's also self-destructing, that you own destruct your company. You try to destroy your own major activity. Like if you run a hotel and your hotel at a prime location, then you ruin the location. As we all know, the price of the location of the hotel depend on the location or the view outside the location, outside the hotel. So if the location of the hotel is ruined, then what's the purpose of the hotel? As it by own destroy the main activity of the firm, of the company. The fifth one is white knight, who help escort your company from someone who try to acquire. When someone try to acquire your company and do not want to sell, as one country want to acquire your company of the another country, then and you don't want to sell your company, it is called knight, white knight. The sixth one is golden parachute, get out with huge bonus. It's pretty simple. The next is synergy, when two firms come together and create something extra, then merger become beneficial. If two companies join together and create something special or create something extra, so it's come to the benefit of the companies, and both the companies are getting benefit from the merger. It is called merger with the benefits. That it leads to the main parts, as the main objectives of the firms are to produce more production, more scope, diversification, financial benefit. At its very much simple, as the main objective of the merger is to get maximum benefit. Now we are going to understand the ways of merger. When one company acquire the another company through cash, so the one company will get the benefit. If the one company try to acquire the another company through shares, then the valuation of the company should be the prime essential, that the asset based valuation should be done, learning based valuation and multiple valuation should be done. And the examples are Idea and Vodafone merger, as Idea belongs to the Aditya Birla Groups and the Vodafone belongs to the British firms, as they both companies join together and try to rule the market, and try to make the monopoly in the market. Now we are going to understand what is corporate criminal liability. A company can only act through human being, and a human being who commits an offense of company for the benefit of a company will be responsible for that offense himself. The importance of incorporation is that it makes the company itself liable in certain circumstances as well as the human beings. As the model derives that divided in two parts, the first one is derivative model and the second one is organizational model. The derivative model is further divided into two parts, that is vicarious liability, and the second one is identification doctrine. Now understand what is derivative model. This model is individual control model. That is basically centered with the individual. It derives to attach the liability to the corporation only because an individual connected to the corporation incurred some liability for which the individual is to be punished. But since it is connected to the corporation, the liability is put on the corporation to having that individual with it and letting it incur some liability. Now, what is vicarious liability? Now, for understanding the vicarious liability, we have to understand two Latin maxims. The first one is Q facit per alium facit per se. It means that who acts through another shall deemed to have acted on his own. The second one is respondent superior, which means let the master answer. For explaining the vicarious liability, you have to write down these two maxims, as these two maxims are very important. Just remind these terms. And what is identification doctrine? Doctrine tries to identify certain key persons of a corporation who acts in its behalf and whose conduct and state of mind can be attributed to that of the corporation. And the case laws define, that is Salmon versus Salmon. Salmon versus Salmon is a very landmark case in the Company Act, as the definition of the Company Act also derived and the objective of the Company Act derived from the case law Salmon versus Salmon. So it is very important case law. It is very important to mention this case law in the exam. So just read out the judgment of this case, and the facts are also important of this case, as this is a landmark judgment. If you want the judgment of Salmon versus Salmon, please mention me in the comment section. I will also tell you the judgment of the case Salmon versus Salmon. Second one is organization model. Unlike derivative model, which focuses on individual, organizational model takes corporation into consideration. OM stands for organizational model, was one way to attribute mental state of corporation. Deadlocks of corporate criminal liability. First one is imprisonment. Under section 447 of the Company Act and 420 of the IPC, the punishment of imprisonment is given. And the second one is mens rea. Mens rea means mental. As for act, you have to be mental aware about the act you are going to do. That is mental preparation. In the case Motorola Incorporation versus Union State of India. Therefore, it can be said that even though corporate crimes are much in vogue today, but the method to tackle them are still in their premature state.